I want to welcome you back. So we're looking at renewable energy sources, their impact in the United States, their influence, and their future. One of the things that will often come up in a conversation about all energy sources is the amount of water that's used to produce an energy source. And one of the things that I've heard from several people, and I hear it on the news, I've heard it more than once, is the amount of water that it takes to drill and to frack one natural gas well. And in some parts of the nation, it takes close to 5 million gallons of water to drill and to frack one natural gas well. As we understand that, I want to put it into the bigger picture, because every energy source takes water. Now, let's not have any mistaking this. Water is a very precious and it's a vital resource for life. But with that in mind, I think we need to understand that energy and water are very connected. Let me say that again. Energy production and water are very connected. Let's read this slide together. The availability of water supplies clearly has an impact on the availability of energy. Without water, we may not be able, with the technology we have, to drill and frack wells. But let's read what's in red. Energy production and generation affect the availability and quality of water. In other words, if you live in a rural area and you have a water well, unless you have a hand pump on it, it's electricity that's driving a motor that's creating the power from the pump to bring that water to the surface. Now, both conventional and renewable energy methods use vast amounts of water. Let's not sugarcoat that. It uses vast amounts of water, both conventional sources and renewable sources. Now, according to the International Gas Union, here's how it breaks out in the United States. 82% of the water that's used in the United States is used in homes. It's used in municipalities. It's used in sewer systems in cities, 82%. 6% is used in agriculture. When I read that, I was surprised that it's only 6%. Industry and mining is 4.5%. Power generation, that's where we come in. That's where renewables come in, represent only 5% of the water usage. You might be surprised at this. Look at this dam. Now it's creating electricity through water, but did you know that hydroelectricity has the largest water footprint? And the reason is because of the vast amounts of water that evaporate behind the dam every day. It's estimated that every day there is enough water that evaporates from these reservoirs to meet the demands of over 50 million people. You can see the chart there. And every one of those little water bottles represents the average number of gallons of water needed to produce 1 megawatt of electricity. You might think that hydroelectric is a great energy source, and I think it is. I don't think we should start breaking the dams up and letting the water out. But look at the amount of water that it uses compared to other energy sources. Hydroelectricity requires over 4,000 gallons of water to produce a single megawatt of electricity. Let's look at geothermal. It requires over 1,000 gallons of water to produce a megawatt of electricity. What about solar thermal? It requires nearly 1,000 gallons to produce the same amount of electricity. And then there's nuclear. It produces, the amount of water that's needed is about 560 gallons to produce the same. And then natural gas. Remember how I started the slide out? I said that it takes 5 million gallons of water to drill and frack one well. But even in the mix of the other renewable sources, it only equates to 150 gallons of water to generate 1 megawatt of electricity. A typical natural gas well is from 3 to 5 million gallons. Let's put this in perspective. On the left, you see a drop of water, which represents 5 million gallons of water. And by the way, the analogy here isn't that it's a drop of water, but it represents 5 million gallons of water. But in the city of New York City today, in 7 minutes, it's estimated that that city uses the equivalent of 5 million gallons of water every 7 minutes. Biofuels. Biofuels, I don't even know what to say about them, but according to a study in 2009, biofuels have a 70 to 400 time higher water footprint than any other traditional energy source. And here's why. Because the amount of water it takes for irrigation. In some regions like California, the biofuels that are produced require 1,000 times more water than it takes to produce electricity or gasoline in a conventional way. And depending on the state you're in and the irrigation needs, now just get this, the amount of water needed to produce 1 gallon of ethanol is going to vary from state to state. But if you're in the state of Wyoming and you're trying to produce ethanol, it's going to take you 5,000 gallons of water to create 1 gallon of ethanol. In Colorado, it's over 4,000 gallons. New Mexico, 5,400. California, 8,000 gallons of water to create 1 gallon of ethanol.